So picture this, a scrawny 6-year-old girl in a wool dark blue uniform with a white shirt underneath. This is late 70s. Saddle shoes, but kind of a French Parisian version of them. They're still ugly, but maybe one step higher than ugly. Walking into school for first grade for the first time, not able to understand the teachers or her classmates. This was me. This is where my love of language began. Whether you choose to communicate or not, it's happening. So if you decide not to communicate, or you're not communicating frequently with a distinct plan, people will start telling stories and creating stories and sharing them. This is the rumor mill, right? So the gap that occurs when you aren't able to communicate. You might not be able to share a ton of information, but if you can address it even a little bit, you put people at ease. Don't allow people to create stories. So if something is in the works, if all of a sudden you're going to be hiring people, just let people know that. It diffuses any of that create my own story here. You have as many neurons in your gut as you do in your brain. So if you've ever had a gut reaction to something, I just didn't like that person, that's what's going on. It is a real feeling. Pay attention to it. And remember that when you are talking to people, this is what you want to do. You want to make them feel good. So even if you have to give them bad news, do so in a way that's transparent, that's effective, and that's what we're talking about. We have taught this model to so many people. I actually have people come back to me and say, it took less than 5 minutes, they got it, they heard me, and it was done. So it was a non-issue. And the reason that it took 5 minutes was following these 4 steps, quite easy to give feedback. But they also understood, they had built the trust as Stephanie spoke to, and they also got to the point that they knew how to speak the other person's language. So when you give feedback to someone, it's not about delivering feedback how you would want to receive it, but rather speaking to their needs. Feedback is not just negative or constructive. If you see someone doing something that you really like, give them feedback on that. That is the easiest and most sure way to get them to repeat that behavior. 65% of our communication is nonverbal. So let's talk about this 35%, okay? The words that we use. How can we be that person who is so influential, is able to sell anything, is able to convince anyone to do anything, and is really conscious about how they're coming across on a day-to-day basis? Someone shout out here for me, how much time do you think over the course of a day do you spend communicating? Just shout out a percentage number. 120. Who said that? I know you do, for sure. Megan does. What else do you guys think? 50%. 50% from Lisa. 75%. 75%. So, all joking aside, Megan is right. It's about 99% of the time we are communicating. Think about it. You're texting, you're emailing, you're writing a memo or drafting a document for a client. You're walking to the bathroom and running into someone maybe in the bathroom. I can't tell you how many clients I run into in the bathroom. We have great conversations. It's very private. We do look under the stalls first, make sure no one else is there. The key that I see working with leaders across the board, across industries, size of businesses, different roles, is that when we pay attention to the words that we use, we are far more effective. So if you look at Harvard Business Review or Fast Company or the leading leadership publications, we talk about different leadership tools like listening. That's a great one, which I firmly believe is understated. We talk about your writing skills. Maybe you talk about your body language. Anyone watch Amy Cuddy's TED Talk, right? She talks the power poses. Yes, highly recommend it. We're talking about conflict, and the reason we're talking about this is we deal with this regularly. We've talked about a few examples here. It happens more than we think it does or we realize it does. In fact, we found one study that showed that 85% of employees in the U.S. deal with conflict over the course of the year and spend about just over 2 hours a week on conflict. And when we're focusing on that and it's taking up brain space. It's like a overstuffed filing cabinet or too many apps open on your phone or too many browser windows. Things slow down. You can't be problem solving. You can't be creative, like you're saying. You can't be innovative if your brain is filled with this conflict. So this is something we have to deal with. And avoidance, by the way, is not a tactic. But the thing that isn't spoken about as much, which is quite funny, is the words, the language, our vocabulary. When we use strong language and a strong vocabulary, we build our confidence internally. We feel better about ourselves. We stand taller. Maybe our shoulders are back. We make eye contact. And what do you think ends up happening externally? People want to hang out with us. They want to buy what we're selling. Whether you're selling a product or a service, or you're trying to get them on board with a project that you're trying to launch. And as you build your confidence, you may have some setbacks, that's to be expected, but you can do it. Think about what you want to be known for. Do you want to be known for that person, as I mentioned before, who is articulate and has it all put together? At least it appears that way on the outside. No one knows what's going through your head. But what do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known for that person that gets stuff done? Do you want to be known for that person that wears her heart on her sleeve? Do you want to be known for the person who goes after things and makes things happen? Then you can do that, but you need to be conscious about it. And I encourage you to use your vocabulary to do so.